behind only Wisconsin and Minnesota, who started playing in 1906. NC State won the toss, defers to get the football in the second half, and we are underway in Robert. Hank Bachmeier is 25 years old. He's a native of Murrieta, California. Four-star high school recruit. Max mentioned he played 4 years at Boise State, made 29 starts. His best season came in 2021 when he threw for over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. And since winning the starting job this year, he's played well.
He really has settled in, and yeah, I mean, he's been around the block a while. Started as a true freshman on the road at Florida State when he was at Boise, and they went in the portal. They made him his guy, and he's really settled in and really opened up this passing attack, a passing attack that struggled last year.
Devon Claiborne will call his name frequently today. They fake it to him, and they throw it, and an easy catch on first down, hauled in by Horatio Fields.
Fields is the guy that's going to have to step up today. Donovan Green, number 11, their consistent outside receivers, a little bit banged up. It's a deeper receiver room. They'll have to count on Fields today.
Claiborne gets a carry, trying to turn around the edge, and he does, and steps out of bounds, good enough for a first down at the 37-yard line. Claiborne, the second-year starter, rushed for 620 yards a season ago and finished 8th in the Atlantic Coast Conference in all-purpose yards.
One of the more underrated backs in the country, really. Banged up last week with a kneecap injury. Good to see him healthy today.
They've got some wounded players along that offensive line, starting with their outstanding center, Luke Petitbon. And how about the legs? Right there, a Bachmeier into NC State territory, tackled at the 44-yard line.
This is a great job up front. Keegan Truce, their right tackle. It's a lighter box, utilizing Hank Bachmeier's legs. You don't always see that from Bachmeier, but when his number's called, he's certainly capable.
It's a 20-yard run for Bachmeier. It's a first down. Good start for Wake Forest. Good protection. And a bullet just outside the 35. That is caught by Taylor Marin. What a career Marin has had. Ranks in the top 4 all-time at Wake Forest in both receptions and receiving yards. The 8th most touchdowns. Good player.
Without a doubt. Does a little bit of everything for them. Mr. Consistent. Operates a lot out of that slot position for him.
Held on to it a little while, and that's a big gain by Claiborne inside the 20. And that'll move the chains again for the Demon Deacons.
And this is how Claiborne's game has improved. He's always had the burst. You see that right away, the quickness. But the vision and the patience right there, especially allowing these blockers up front to get a hat on a hat and then utilize your burst. Great job on the patience front.
It's an 18-yard run for Claiborne, and they fake it to him. This receiver right there, he had Morin wide open, and that could have been a touchdown if he connects on that slant. Although maybe, Max, he was looking outside.
And it took a while for him to get the ball out of his hands too. A little, almost a rub concept. You're always running offense calls it rub, defense calls it pick kind of thing. Good job by NC State getting pressure on Bachmeier too. If Wake Forest is going to do that patented slow mesh that they have, you got to heat things up on Bachmeier and force him to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Second down and 10, and they're going to throw it. Pump fake. What a catch. Somehow, some way, able to haul that one in is Micah Mays Jr.
Playing a lot more football for this Demon Deacon offense. Great catch, accurate pass, too. He throws that in his chest. That might be picked going the other way, too. Great catch, great trust. Bachmeier's playing in rhythm.
NC State forced 4 turnovers in the win over Northern Illinois a week ago. Third down and 5. Blitz coming, lofted towards the end zone and out of the reach of Claiborne. So 4th down and 5, and out comes the field goal unit. That was a very good drive until they got down inside the red zone, and that thing just stalled out on them.
It was, and you can see Bachmeier change the play at the line of scrimmage, saw man coverage. They'll give him about 5 or 6 plays a game where he can check out of it. Saw man coverage, tried to get Claiborne on a little vertical route out of the backfield, but credit Brandon Cisse, the DB for North Carolina State, coming up with a good stop there.
Matthew Dennis has only missed once all year long, and that was the final try last week in the loss to Louisiana. And this one he bangs through the uprights. Good start for the Demon Deacons. 31-yard field goal, 3-0 lead. You're watching CW Football Saturday. Age, he might not be able to play athletics. Well, he was a 2-time ACC Player of the Year and a National Football League Most Valuable Player. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. What a career Jacoby Brissett's carved out for himself,
really
too.
Has.
He's been a spot starter, and I'm sure he embraces it. Says, sweet, you want to give me the keys to your franchise for half a season, full season? I'll take it.
That guy's going to end up playing probably 15, 20 years in the NFL.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Buddy up with Drake May, be his backup for a little while when the time comes.
Through the back of the end zone, and out trots for the first time in 3 weeks, Grayson McCall. 23 years young, in his 6th year of college football. Spent 5 years at Coastal Carolina, 3-time Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. Last year he got hurt. He only played in 7 games. He's had some head injuries, and again this year. Suffered 3 weeks ago against Louisiana Tech. But man, when he's healthy, he's a good one.
One of the biggest gets in the transfer portal this spring.
He's going to come out pump fake and looking down the middle of the field. Protection breaks down and just throws it away. He had an eye on Noah Rogers along the sideline. What do you like about McCall's game?
I think he just opens up this passing attack. He can do a little bit of everything from the pocket, plays on time, got enough arm strength to make all the throws. And I thought C.J. Bailey, their true freshman backup quarterback, played well. I mean, for a true freshman to come on the road versus Clemson and do some things, and then you got the win last week, I think you walk away with enough to see saying, hey, he's the future quarterback. But in terms of opening up the passing attack both horizontally and vertically down the field, that's certainly what McCall can do.
Easy pitch and catch to Rogers across the 30-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down. You know, we talked about C.J. Bailey. He made back-to-back starts. Last week, the offense, a total of 171 yards in the win. Fewest total yards by any winning team so far this season, and the fewest in an NC State win, going back to 99.
And I thought the play calling, they made a concerted effort to, not ask Bailey to do too much, trust your defense kind of thing.
3 straight throws, and that is a 1st down. Big hit. And is that a penalty flag coming down? Yes, it is. Wesley Grimes with the catch, and boy, did he take a hit from Devon Patterson.
After the play, personal foul, targeting, defense number 13. The play is under further review.
They're going to get Devon Patterson on this, and you lunging to the head or neck area and the crown of the helmet. I think it checks both those boxes. Unfortunately for Patterson, who's a big physical safety, he looks like a linebacker with that hit. He actually plays that nickel spot for Wake Forest. And it's a Wake Forest secondary that's thin, that's struggled so far this season. So even though Patterson isn't their starting free safety or strong safety, to lose him early on in the game would be huge.
And again, if they confirm that this is targeting, he will be thrown out of the game.
So you're always looking, lunging to the head or neck area and crown of the helmet. And to me, that checks both those boxes clear as day.
Mike Mothershed back at our control room. Mike, what do you think? I mean, this looks pretty obvious to me, but you're the guy. Mike, thank you very much. We are still waiting official confirmation. And that would be a big blow to Wake Forest because Patterson's a good player.
Very much so. Allows him to do a lot of different things defensively. I mean, you talk about a nickel at 6 feet, 215 pounds. You might as well have just a third linebacker in there.
After further review, targeting is confirmed. Number 13 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, not even a handful of plays into the game on defense, and Patterson, the redshirt freshman out of Miami, Florida, is gone.
I can't stress enough, too, it's a secondary that struggled. Keep an eye on that storyline through the rest of the game, especially as you have a very capable passer in McCall back in this game.
So Darius Kelly takes over for him. How about this right here? Wide open inside the 20, still on his feet, is Justin Jolie. Second leading receiver, this big tight end. And that's a big one right there for the Pack.
And credit Kevin Concepcion, the slot receiver. He takes a big hit in the backfield when he gets that pitch back to the quarterback. You always got to keep an eye on that. Once an offense starts getting momentum, start inching closer to the 50-yard line, might call that trick play or an explosive play.
Pass, 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 pass. That's all we've seen now with McCall back on the field. He's got Jordan Waters standing behind him, and this will be a run off the left side and just bottled up right at the line of scrimmage.
This is trusting one of your best players, Concepcion. He knows he's going to take a hit right there from the backer, but you got to wear that, pitch it back to your quarterback, and you know if someone's hitting Concepcion, that's one less guy in coverage. Good execution by the NC State offense.
No gain on the first down carry by Waters, and now it'll be Kendrick Raphael checking into the backfield. He's led the Wolfpack 3 games this year in rushing, including a career 91 against Clemson. And they try to throw it to him out of the backfield, broken up. So 3rd down and 10 for the Wolfpack.
Good execution so far. You had 2 guys right there in the same zone. Good job by Wake Forest coming up. And you said it, Tom. I mean, to start this drive, it's a totally different offensive identity than we saw last week. It was very much run and then play action, bootleg off of it. So far today, it's been pass happy, and for a reason. You have weapons out wide. You have receivers that you want to feed. This is the game to do it.
And, of course, the pass defense, as you've talked about already, Max, is really been bad for Wake Forest. McCall going to run it. He needs to get to the 8-yard line. The ball is loose, and it's picked up by Wake Forest. Taking off the other way is Evan Slocum. Still on his feet inside the 40. He's got 2 men to beat down the sideline. Cuts it back to the inside, and he's going to take it to the house. Or is he? No, he's 1 yard short. But a critical turnover. Injured at the other end of the field is a Wake Forest player. I don't know if that's McCall down. It is Grayson McCall. And remember, this is a young man who has suffered a number of head injuries, has actually had bleeding on the brain at different points in time in his career. And this appears to be a very, very serious injury. Everybody on that North Carolina State sideline down on the knee in prayer. Man, oh man, oh man, this is hard to see. Going to show the hits, plural, 2 of them to the head area. Crowd really upset as they did show it on the replay board here inside the stadium. First down and goal after the 88-yard return. Bachmeier hands it off to Claiborne, and he's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. 3-0 in favor of Wake Forest. Went down the field on its opening drive, had to settle for the field goal try. And then after the hit, the fumble, the big return by Evan Slocum. The Demon Deacons in business. Going to throw it wide open is Claiborne, and that was a touchdown. Quarterback took a hit, just waiting for Claiborne to release. That is his first receiving touchdown of the year, and it's a 6th touchdown thrown by Bachmeier.
They tried to get Claiborne the last drive in the red zone, same spot on a pass attempt. This time just a total blown coverage by NC State. You got 3 guys rushing the passer, no one into that flat. Damon Claiborne is their playmaker. It's a great job by that Wake Forest to get it in.
Dennis for the point after. And it's right down the middle to make it a 10-0 Demon Deacons lead, much to the delight of Dave Clawson.
Yeah, Claiborne was banged up last week like we talked about. Ended up either dislocating his kneecap or some sort of movement there. They're treating it like a bone bruise, but you know, this offense is entirely different if they do not have Claiborne. We've seen so far today through 2 drives what he can do, both running the rock and catching the rock out of the backfield.
You know, I want to make sure everyone at home understands. We made the decision. We're not going to show the replay of the hits. But one thing we can tell you, there were no flags thrown on the hits. They weren't dirty plays on the hits. There was no targeting involved on the hits, unless we find out something at a later time. But
just violent, aggressive hits. But like you said, nothing malicious.
Of course, the crowd doesn't feel that way, watching one of their own go down. And if we get any kind of an update from Annabelle Myers and the crew with the North Carolina State Sports Information Department or from their locker room, we'll let you know. Trevor, what's it like down there?
It was obviously in the immediate aftermath devastation, right? Having a quarterback that just got returned from injury to suffer something like that. Davin Van visibly distraught on the sideline specifically. However, when the business resumed, it was business as usual on the sideline as well. These gentlemen understand that there's still a job to do, and they have locked back in, understanding that they still have confidence in the young man stepping behind center right now.
All right, and that young man is C.J. Bailey. He started the last 2 games. Was very impressive. His first collegiate start against Clemson. And an easy throw to Concepcion, but no gain on first down. Bailey's a true freshman. 6'6", 210-pounder. Grew up in Miami, Florida. Won 2 state championships and was the 2-time Florida High School Player of the Year. Bright future ahead for C.J. Bailey.
No doubt, and he doesn't have the experience, obviously, that Grayson McCall has, but for a true freshman, 2 weeks ago to go on the road versus Clemson, last week I thought he did some good things. He is totally capable within the pocket, and that his legs can certainly be a factor if things break down.
Throws to the sideline. That's a nice throw in between defenders, and the catch is made for a first down right at the 40-yard line to Jolie.
Jolie's a unique weapon for this NC State offense. He is a tight end, but man, they use him like a receiver often. Second on this team in receptions. It's a good combination too. He's more big and physical outside, compared with Kevin Concepcion as more of their slot, smaller, quick guy weapon. It'll be interesting to see track 2 offensively. Do they open it up? Do they continue to open it up with C.J. Bailey behind center? Do they go more conservative?
Catch made along the near sideline. And that goes to Anderson, close to midfield. He'll be a yard or 2 short up to the 48-yard line. Remember now, the very first drive of the game against NIU last week. I mean, Bailey took them right down the field. But then, you know, he went 7 for 7. They go 8 plays, 64 yards. But then the offense pretty much disappeared after that.
Became a ball control game. They got the lead, and then Maybe it was a little bit of what NIU was doing. It's a great defense they faced, but left a lot on the field. Was terrible on third down, too, last week.
Raphael out of the backfield. Spins his way out of a tackle, and he's down to the 45-yard line. It's good pickup on first down.
Good little spin right here by Raphael. Seeing the quickness, the make you miss. And that's what's so useful, too, for a true freshman quarterback. When you call a downfield pass play, but then you have the confidence to check the ball down, allow your playmakers to do something with it, that gives the offensive coordinator trust to call that next downfield passing attempt, knowing that they can trust their young quarterback to check it down and utilize his playmakers.
Going to run it on a 2nd down and 3 to Raphael. Close to a first down, but appears to be maybe a yard short. Trevor?
Just a quick update on Grayson McCall, quarterback for NC State. He has been transported to Wake Medical Center for further evaluations. We'll keep you posted on any word we get from the NC State program.
Okay. Thank you very much, Trevor Scales. 3rd down and a yard. And they line up in the shotgun. Boy, how the game has changed, Mr. Brown. They hand it off to Raphael, and he spins his way just enough for a first down. I mean, what happened to the days of Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler getting up under center on a 3rd and 1?
The pocket passer quarterback in me misses those days a little bit. But NC State's got their version of a fullback. Matt McCabe in there, more of that H-back action. But you're right, and for anyone sitting at home that says, man, why don't you just get under center? What are we doing here? If you don't practice going under center, especially for a true freshman quarterback, it's harder than it looks to get that exchange if it's brand new for you. But good on NC State for picking that up.
So 1st down and 10 at the Wake Forest 41-yard line. They fake the handoff, and it's caught. Breaking a tackle at the 25, inside the 20 is Wesley Grimes. Boy, some missed tackles out there by the Demon Deacons on defense, and that's been a big problem all year long.
And C.J. Bailey getting the rock to the former Demon Deacon. Wesley Grimes transferred from Wake, got him this January. It's a good comeback route on the outside. Very easy progression for C.J. Bailey, and it's a good accurate throw on the outside lane.
Yeah, Grimes played 2 seasons for the Demon Deacons, played in 19 games last year, had 20 catches and 4 touchdowns for him. 1st and 10 at the 17. Wolfpack trying to get on the board. Wide receiver screen to Concepcion. And that time, the Demon Deacon defense was able to answer the bell.
And Trevor mentioned it to open the game. Getting Kevin Concepcion involved in this game plan. That's always the key when you have a star receiver. Find different ways to get him the rock. One of the top reception getters in the ACC. Slow last week, but just a unique weapon. It doesn't have to always be, pure progression passing concepts where he's down the field. He can do some jet sweeps. He can line up in the backfield. We saw that last week for his touchdown catch. Does a little bit of everything.
And that is a catch made. No, they're saying no. Concepcion looking at the official saying, you got to be kidding. He thought he caught it. So did Dave Doran.
And we'll see here a little RPO, different arm angle by C.J. Bailey. And reminder, the ball can touch the ground. The receiver just has to maintain control. When he goes down to the ground, I think he may have clamped it and had control as he's going to the ground. I think Doran has a reason to be on the refs there. It's close.
6 of 7 is Bailey. 10th play of the drive, steps up and is hit as he throws. He took a big shot down there right as he cut it loose from Bryce Gaines, the transfer from Villanova. So now a field goal try.
It's good pressure right here by Wake Forest. Big Bryce Gaines in the middle. The defensive tackles for Wake Forest are certainly the strong suit of this defense. It's a defensive line that's played a lot of football. These D tackles have lined up against NC State for years. That group really has to get going to help a secondary, like we said, that's struggling.
Kanoa Vineset has hit 6 of 7 field goals, and and make it 7 of 8 field goals. So Bailey comes into the game, and on his first drive, they got a touchdown on the first drive last week. His first drive leads to a field goal here today to make it a 10-3 game. And while we have a moment here, let's send it back to the guys in the studio. Mike, how you doing? Tell you what, SMU's got a pretty nice team. I'm surprised that with one loss, I'm surprised they've not cracked the top 25.
I'm with you. Got it done against TCU. That BYU loss for SMU is looking a lot better. That was an ugly loss in week 3, but BYU's rattling off some wins. I'm with you. They go on the road today, though. That's a different challenge for SMU.
How about that game last night with Syracuse and previously unbeaten
Thriller in Vegas.
I mean, a wild night. 44-41 Orange win in overtime. And so we check in a full slate of conference games today. That Louisville SMU game is a big game because both teams are going to, you figure, to be right in the thick of this whole thing.
We've talked about it. When you talk about the hierarchy of the ACC, I think it's Miami in Tier 1. Clemson, I think, is emerged by themselves in Tier 2. But that Tier 3, you mentioned SMU, Louisville, Boston College, Duke's up there. Syracuse can put up a lot of points. This NC State squad. I mean, it'll be fun to see how this conference shakes out.
Yeah, it really will. North Carolina's playing at home. Pitt, another your old alma mater, undefeated so far this year. That's a first down reception up close to the 40-yard line to Taylor Morin.
Just trying not to be biased up here, you know.
I know, but I mean, they're playing good football. But that's a big game down the road in Chapel Hill today.
No doubt. And one last point, too, to last drive, too. I'm a little surprised Dave Doran didn't challenge that third down. 3rd and 10, when you're down 10 points already in this game, it's a lot different than 3rd and 5 with a young quarterback.
Doran the catch, and they're going to throw it again, and there was a miscommunication there.
Yeah, I thought that play to Kevin Concepcion last drive was close enough to at least take a chance on it. Wake Forest Demon Deacons, most points first quarter of this season. It's a good start. It's a team that's lost 2 games by 1 possession, and when you lose games like that, you can look back to slow starts, missed opportunities in the red zone. So far, that hasn't necessarily been the case for the Demon Deacons.
Trying to air it out once more to Morin. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 10. You know, it's funny, you can put up numbers, and Max, we talk about this a lot. You know, stats, you can make them, right? Prove your point, whatever the point is. You'll figure out a way. But there have been, despite even big numbers on offense, there have been chances for this offense to put those 2 games away, and they've not been able to do it. I mean, the defense, everybody's piling on when you're giving up 40-plus points. And nearly batted into the arms of Mays. Good coverage out there by Corey Coley.
This is great coverage by Coley. That reserve corner, NC State will play 4 different corners. Bachmeier is trying to fit it into a tight window, little back shoulder ball on a slot fade route. Coley is all over that. It's a great job by a corner, getting his eyes around and playing the football just like the receiver would. In those one-on-one matchups, if you're Wake Forest, you want your receiver to come down with it. Coley's saying, not on my watch.
Jalen Coit stands back, waiting on the Ivan Mora punt. And it was not a good one. Let's see where they're going to spot this thing. Fischel streaking up the sideline, crosses a 40, all the way up to the 45-yard line. How about that? You're watching CW Football Saturday, brought to you by Scott's. Feed your lawn. Feed it. by Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl, starting at $13.99 with a new garlic herb sauce. And Fresh Pet. It's not dog food, it's food. Tuffy 3. Searching for some deep.
It's a
right
happy
about
dog
now,
right there. Oh,
Got
yeah.
that right. First down, double reverse. Concepcion, they're just trying to get the ball in his hands. And a pickup of close to 5 yards on first down. If you're just joining us, a very scary injury. Rushed to the hospital. NC State starting quarterback Grayson McCall. We're all thinking about him and praying for him and his family. If we get any further update, Trevor will be all over it. It's a 10-3 ball game. C.J. Bailey started the last 2 games. He took over for the injured McCall in the Louisiana Tech game and led him on 3 scoring drives to come from behind and win that game. Big hole right there for Jordan Waters. And he carries it down to Demon Deacons territory to the 41-yard line. First down, Wolfpack.
Dave Doran challenged his offensive line 2 weeks ago to start playing together. He knew they were a physical, tough unit. But time to start playing together, and that's a zone run scheme where you are having your offensive linemen almost sprint to the sideline, and it's a good vision by Waters, putting his right foot in the ground, cutting up against the grain. That's a tough spot to be in if you're a linebacker. It's just a lot of grass to cover.
Keep it on the ground to Waters once more, and he just keeps those legs moving and those feet moving. And that's a big pickup on first down of close to 8 yards. It is 8 yards.
And what a pickup Waters was for this offense. Comes from Duke, had 23 rushing touchdowns there. Dave Clausen, Wake Forest's head coach, was very complimentary, saying he thought he was one of the best running backs in the portal. He's pounding the turf there. Thought there was more yardage to get.
Yeah, he really had a good year last season for Duke. 12 rushing touchdowns, 4th most in the ACC, averaged over 5 a carry. Better than 700 rushing yards for the Blue Devils. One more play at least in the quarter, and right through the hands of Waters. So the clock stops with 8 ticks remaining in this opening period.
I was curious how we were going to see this offense maybe change with C.J. Bailey being the guy, and it really hasn't. I think it's much more open, especially compared to last week. You're seeing Concepcion line up in the backfield, motioning outside. You're getting to game 3 for C.J. Bailey. It's no longer brand new. It's no longer the jitters of being a first-time starter type of thing. Wouldn't be surprised if they continue to stick with this mentality of being aggressive, pushing the ball downfield.
Well, they got a 3rd down and 2 here, and they're going to run it with Waters. And he has enough for a first down inside the 30. And that's the way the opening period will come to an end. Good game. 10-3 Wake Forest. You're watching CW Football Saturday presented by Verizon.
I may or may not have owned a Wonder Bread suit in college. Break that out for a couple of Halloweens.
Very nice. All right, 10-3 ball game. Bailey pump fake on first down and 10. Signaling a receiver to get down the sideline, and wisely throws it away. 2nd down coming up. NC State trails 10-3.
You can see Concepcion right here. He's going to be on a vertical shot down the field. His young quarterback misses him. His eyes go there right away, but he's got to trust the double move. When you have an elite playmaker like that, you're dialing up the curl and then go. You can see Concepcion knowing that there's not that many plays in the playbook that are shot calls like that. Young quarterback's just got to trust his protection and trust the concept a little bit more and let it go for a touchdown shot.
Take the handoff, and the slant is caught. And that will be more than enough for a first down as he finds Keenan Jackson. Jackson, a speedster, man. He was a state champion on the 4x100 meter relay, the 4x200 meter relay in the state of North Carolina. He can fly.
Breaking in a couple true freshman receivers. Seen Keenan Jackson there. Saw Terrell Anderson earlier on in this game. and quarterback-wise, like how C.J. Bailey responded right there. You're going to miss reads. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss opportunities. But the very next play to go back and rip a shot right in your receiver's gut is a good sign.
Concepcion takes a handoff and is spun down close to the 15-yard line.
You can see what both these offenses are trying to do. Concepcion, they are trying to force feed them NC State-wise, and Wake-wise, Damon Claiborne's been their guy getting the rock. Two dynamic playmakers, two of the best in the ACC, and defensively, a key for both these teams has to be take those guys away.
Gain of 3 on the carry by Concepcion. All rest at the 15-yard line on this 2nd down and 7. Concepcion moving around back there. They hand it off to Waters, cuts it back to the inside. And a penalty flag comes in. I think this is going to be a face mask on the tackle. Payson went to grab him, and it looked like he made contact with that face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 45. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
That was Nick Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson over pursuing just a little bit, then coming back. It's too bad, too, because he wasn't even necessarily making the tackle. His buddy was right there.
Anderson is the leading tackler not only for this Demon Deacons team, he's a leading tackler in the Atlantic Coast Conference. This guy's all over the field. He averages 12 tackles a game.
Played a lot of football for this Wake Forest defense.
So first down and goal for NC State. Concepcion is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. That was an outstanding play made by Stevenson. Zamari Stevenson, the redshirt sophomore out of Statesville, Georgia.
Stevenson in man-to-man coverage. He knows that when Concepcion goes out, that's his assignment, and that's likely where the football is going. Great team defense, too. You can see it. We talked about it, force feeding them. 4 targets so far, 3 receptions, 2 carries as well. And that's not even to mention some of the motions, and they had him involved in a trick play as well. Last week did not get many touches. This week, different story.
No, he had 4 catches for 4 yards and a touchdown last week, Concepcion, in the win over NIU. Waters trying to find a hole, is tripped up. Again, that's Gaines right in the middle of that Wake Forest defense. So 3rd and goal. There was a loss of 5 on the first down play. So just inside the 10, 3rd down and goal. What do you do here?
Got to look number 10's way, right? Concepcion, or you know what? I like Justin Jolie, too. That tight end receiver combo. Bigger body here. This is the area of the field that you need to win in. He's going to be in the slot to the bottom of your screen.
Number 15, and then close to the left tackle is Concepcion. 3rd down and goal. Bailey looks to the end zone, rolls, steps up, throws, open, touchdown! Keenan Jackson, his first receiving touchdown of the season. And what a play. Even Scott from Scott's is pumped after seeing that score. Yes, indeed. Scott, that's a real man.
True freshman to true freshman. C.J. Bailey to his early enrollee buddy, Keenan Jackson. It's a good sign, too, if you're NC State. You usually don't like your quarterback throwing across his body, but it also means your quarterback's getting confidence to go through his reads.
Point after to tie it is good. So 2 scoring drives.
Please go to redcross.org or text Helene to 90999. NC State captain and defensive end, a part of that effort to help recover.
Yeah, and here in North Carolina, incredible job done by Will Graham and the Billy Graham Foundation and the American Red Cross and so many others. Man, there's some people really, really hurt bad. Over 200 now dead in the southeastern part of the country, and many, many hundreds more still missing.
What a cool story Davin Van and his family's trucking company's been. That's special.
Yep.
Coach also mentioned guys with NIL money paying back, donating their own funds. It's cool.
Claiborne will run through a tackle. The Wake started out, had their first drive right down the field, then it stalled out, resulting in a field goal. They had the big fumble return on the play that knocked McCall out of the game, that they cashed in for a touchdown, but now 10 unanswered. As there's an injured DK Kaufman. What a game he had last week, man. One of the best games we've seen from a player on defense in a long time. And his running mate is David Vann, graduate, big-time player. Tough guy, isn't he, Trevor?
Certainly an absolute baller on this NC State defense, but he's also a leader in every aspect of the word. That brother and his family's moving company, Joyful Movers, filled 6 trucks, 26-foot trucks, in what expected to just be a simple drive for relief help for Hurricane Helene. It's been incredible to see the response from everyone surrounding Raleigh to be a part of the relief effort in helping the recovery.
We were here last week, and Trevor, I know you were back wrapping up baseball season with the Atlanta Braves. We were here last week, and it's not far down the road, Trev, how bad it among the worst places outside of Nashville.
Yeah, we've been told that 3 members of the NC State Wolfpack program have families in that area that desperately needed help, but all have been accounted for, all are safe, and all are taken care of.
It's more fortunate than so many were. So a second down run by Claiborne. He crosses a 30 and run out of bounds at the 31. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 4 for the Demon Deacons.
And that's a good sight for the NC State defense. Travali Price, who's been banged up with a turf toe foot situation. Didn't have any sign of that right there, running sideline to sideline. And that's what's tough about facing this Wake Forest offense. Sometimes they give you the slow mesh and hold on to the ball for a while, and other times they give it up right away. And Claiborne speeds on the edge to you in a hurry.
There's a bunched formation here on 3rd down and 4. Blitz coming. And in isolation down the sideline, juggling and unable to hang on is Horatio Fields. That was a excellent coverage down the sideline once again.
Look at this release from Fields. No contact. He runs right past him. I think Bachmeier's going to wish he had this throw back. Put a little bit more air on the ball, but credit the coverage by Aiden White. One of the better corners, high-level corner in ACC, but Fields, a guy for Wake Forest at the receiver spot, hasn't played a ton necessarily. Elevated role today with Donovan Green out. Great job running right past him. Those are the type of plays, quarterback-wise, you'd want back.
Mora with a punt. Concepcion drops back to return. Mora had a 17-yard punt a moment ago. This considerably better than that. Off the ground ball. It's picked up by Concepcion, and he's dropped at the 21-yard line. So a 10-10 game, 10 minutes to go until halftime. You're watching CW Football Set. It's one of the great movies ever made, and of course documenting the relationship between Brian Piccolo once he left Wake Forest and went to the Chicago Bears in the NFL, and his relationship with Gale Sayers. First down throw and catch, and that is a first down to Terrell Anderson. Boy, Bailey's got it going on. But that movie is a must-watch. Anybody, please. Just find a couple of hours. The name of the movie is Brian's Song. It's been around forever. But what a great James Caan plays the role of Brian Piccolo.
I got a lot of flights in my future this season. I'll dive in.
First down throw, and this is Rogers, the transfer from Ohio State, and he crosses midfield. That'll be a gain of close to 8, depending on the spot. Yep, gain of 8, second down and 2.
What a decisive throw by Bailey. He's been that way all day today. That might look just like a basic slant concept, but no hesitation, getting the ball out of his hands. And again, it feels like from a play call standpoint, this week compared to last week, much more wide open, much more trusting your quarterback to go through those reads and rip it when he sees it clearly.
Under 9 minutes to go here in the first half. 10-10 game. NC State once more on the move. Here's Raphael, and he's inside the 45, down to the 43, 42-yard line. And that'll move the chains for the Wolfpack. Next weekend will be just down the road at Kenan Stadium. Chapel Hill, North Carolina for the Tar Heels. And Georgia Tech, a couple of teams trying to really level their season now a little bit. Started off well, a couple of steps back. North Carolina playing an unbeaten and ranked Pitt team today at home. That game tied at 10-10. And the catch is made inside the 35. And again, it's Rogers. They have huge expectations for this kid since transferring from Ohio State.
Let's take a look at the ace replay. And right here, Rogers, man, he's really coming on. It feels like every single game he has stepped up, trusted himself a little bit more, and becoming really a mainstay on the outside lane for this team. The number one recruit in the state of North Carolina in the 2022 class. Tom, you mentioned it, went to Ohio State, came back here. Man, they're glad he did.
He was a top 40 recruit nationally. And try to get Concepcion involved on the ground once more, and that has not had much luck. That'll be a loss of a yard, may be able to stretch it out back to the original line of scrimmage.
This is an NC State offense that last week was horrific on third down. 1 for 11 was a big story and why that game was so close. A lot of penalties that killed them. 3rd and 1 though. Different equation. Last week was a lot of 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 1 in what is likely 4-down territories. Different mindset.
Raphael able to pick up the first down to the 30-yard line. As we're under 7 minutes to go until halftime. Remember, NC State won the toss, deferred to getting the football until the start of the second half. But it's been 10 unanswered since the injury to Grayson McCall, C.J. Bailey, who started the last 2 weeks. And, you know, you include that comeback against Louisiana Tech, he is technically 2-1 win-loss, the only loss coming at Clemson.
Yep.
Looking around, and wisely throws it over by the Wake Forest cheerleading squad. Pressure by Davis.
They're glad they got Davis back too. We called Wake Forest a couple weeks back when they played Ole Miss. Jasheen Davis, that is. It's really one of their only, NFL caliber defensive players on that D-line. A lot of production over his career at Wake Forest. Again, banged up to start the year. Having him back is huge for a defense that's struggled at times this year.
Davis in his last 19 games with the Wolfpack has 13.5 sacks. And here's Raphael again, and not a lot of running room, so to bring up a 3rd down and a 3rd and long. As you just pointed out, they haven't had many of them.
Exactly, and this is a C.J. Bailey down. These are, last week they weren't able to convert these. It's tough for any quarterback to convert 3rd and 8. But in a game where you feel like Wake Forest is going to pick up points, put up points, this is where the young quarterback's got to be decisive and don't be afraid to hit your check down. Waters and Raphael have been great so far in this game. Force this Wake Forest defense to tackle.
9th play of the drive, 3 extended drives directed by Bailey. All scoring drives. And the catch is made short. No, able to stay on his feet. How about that running from the big fella Jolie? That's getting it done right there. That's just wanting that first down.
Let's glance at our ace replay and watch a tight end. Who said tight ends don't have yards after the catch? Makes one guy miss, little shimmy right there in space, makes a second guy miss. And that's what I'm talking about. You don't always, to pick up 3rd downs, have to throw past the sticks. You can throw it short and trust your guys to use their legs and pick up the first down.
Well, Jolie's a transfer from UConn. In fact, of all FBS tight ends last year, he led them all in missed tackles. So trying to get a hold of that guy is not easy to do. Great protection. And now the pocket breaks down. And Bailey, who put it on the ground a couple of times last week, is able to hold onto the football, dropped by Gaines, who's had a nice day today.
And I thought he had Joel Lee here again, sitting in this vacated zone. Bailey takes his eyes to the right. Concepcion is the receiver on the top of the screen. There's a lot of space right there to drive a football through that secondary. You get mixed up in your reads a little bit. Some of that's going to happen when you're playing a young quarterback.
Be a loss of 9 all the way back out to the 29-yard line. So 2nd down and 19 in this 10-10 game. With under 4 to go. That's a poor throw. And after that 9-yard loss, I mean, make no mistake about it now. Vineset can bang him. His long this season is from 52 yards. But right now, they'd be looking at right around a 47, 48-yard field goal attempt.
The mindset here has got to be get the ball to your hands quick and make it an easier field goal. 3rd and 19. There's nothing in the playbook for this. Help out your kicker.
And they get some of that yardage back. And it's Concepcion to the 19, stretches out to the 18-yard line. So now that makes it closer to a 37-yard field goal try. And they will send out Vineset to try and give them their first lead of the game.
And in years past, this might be a situation where you might think about taking a timeout if you're Wake Forest. Again, reminder with the 2-minute timeout now in college football. Feels like coaches are now treating that 3-4 minute mark just like normal football, knowing that even when it gets down to that close to 2-minute mark, there's a lot of football left to be played with 3 timeouts and a 2-minute timeout.
Officially 35 yards out for Vineset. And it is good. The NC State Wolfpack has its first lead of the game. 13-10. 2:58 to go until halftime. Had the ball for 21 of 27 minutes in this game. NC State has run 41 plays. Wake Forest has run 17 plays.
That is always the trade-off when you're an up-tempo team like Wake Forest, is sometimes you can put your defense in a tough spot. That time of possession, Wake Forest's defense has been playing well, but over the course of a 4-quarter game, that can wear on a defense, especially that front 7. As a result, I think this is a big drive for Wake Forest. Can't go 3 and out, got to stay on the field. Ideally, you're driving this down the field and you go into halftime with momentum on your side. Feels like Wake Forest had a lot of tempo, a lot of momentum in that first half, but the offense has been silent so far in this 2nd quarter.
All right, so here we go. Tate Carney, who had 3 rushing touchdowns last week. And the loss to Louisiana checks into the backfield. That's Deuce Alexander in motion. And on first down from the 25, they're going to throw it. Bachmeier looking down the field. And the catch is made at the 40-yard line by Mays. He's been very involved today, Micah Mays. You talked about, Donovan Green being slowed down pretty much all year long.
We've seen this route concept a lot today. NC State ran it a couple times. Now Wake Forest doing the same thing. Mays getting away with a little push-off there at the end, but that's a big boy throw, big boy route, 20-yard comeback to the far sideline. It's a good job by Bachmeier giving his receiver a chance to make a play.
And there's a timeout on the field. Trying to figure out, it has to be Wake Forest, or is it Wake Forest who took the timeout? CW Sports Saturday continues next from Talladega. The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs heat up. Then we'll cap off the day in Corvallis, Colorado State taking on Oregon State. CW Sports Saturday continues next. A lot happening out there at that Pac-12 these days.
It is.
Including Colorado State and Oregon State.
We'll be out there in a couple weeks.
Yep, we thought we were going to see an unbeaten UNLV team out there.
I know. They get beat last week. Yeah, I mean, we had Oregon State on August 31st.
Yep.
Oh, what has changed in the Pac-12 for both Oregon State, Washington State, and then the 5 newcomers coming into the Conference of Champions, as they say.
As they say. The late, great Bill Walton.
There you go.
And I love watching that dude on television. Here's a throw by Bachmeier. And he forced that one in there. He's very lucky that thing was not picked off by Aiden White, because that would have been a pick six the other way.
Yeah, trying to force it in there into a tight window. And you can see the identity of this Wake Forest offense. It's very much a trust the right arm of Hank Bachmeier and use that to open up the run game with Damon Claiborne. We're saying so solid under 10 yards, but pushing the ball down the field, not as much success.
Hey, by the way, that timeout a moment ago was an official's timeout. So each team with its full complement left. Crossing pattern, Mays again, and that's a first down to the 49-yard line. We'll see if they get up to the line of scrimmage. Wake Forest plays very, very fast. Over the last number of years, anywhere from 7 to 10 as far as getting the snap off to the next play.
Trying to steal a play here, too, before the 2-minute timeout.
They're down at 2:03. They're going to let it go to 2 minutes. Okay. So we'll take a timeout as well. 2 minutes to go in the half. Wake on the move. We'll be right back.
Freshman Keenan Jackson. We find ourselves 13-10. The Pack is up.
Yeah, 13 unanswered since Bailey came into the game at quarterback, and that's a first down catch. Helmet ripped off over there on Horatio Fields, but that's a first down reception. Clock running again. Wake Forest with all 3 timeouts remaining. Fields will have to run to the sideline, and they're already a little thin with injuries at that position already.
You can feel the difference from a couple weeks ago, though. We barely said Fields' name, barely said Mays' name in the game versus Ole Miss. Not the case today.
The defense spending the timeout there, unsure of what was going on, so 1:48 remains until halftime. If you're looking for a cable news network that respects all Americans, and you have a new home, that's News Nation, America's fastest growing cable news network. To find News Nation on your screen, go to joinnNancy.com. You know, Wake had the extended drive, the first of the game, resulting in a field goal. They had the fumble when McCall was injured that was returned inside the 5-yard line. They only had to go 2 yards to score a touchdown, but since then, the offense has gone to sleep, and the NC State offense has ripped off 13 straight points to take a 3-point lead. Final 2 minutes of the half. Blitz coming. Good protection and an open receiver. Ball is underthrown, and that will be a penalty. Jihad Carter in coverage.
Pass interference. Defense number 11. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, if that ball's thrown on the numbers, that should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, he had him beat. Jihad Carter doesn't get his eyes around. But yeah, he had Deuce Alexander for a touchdown if he throws that deep into the end zone. He also had Taylor Morin underneath open. NC State elected to go full-on blitz, leave their secondary one-on-one on the outside. Pick your favorite matchup, Hank Bachmeier. He went Deuce Alexander's way, and a bang-bang call there that Carter gets penalized for.
So it's a 15-yard penalty, not a spot of the foul penalty. Of course, in the college game, it's a 15-yard penalty. And now to the end zone. And it's overthrown.
Try to go right back to him. I love when play callers do that. Sometimes they have a habit of you call one shot and then you don't go back to that even though it's open for 2 quarters. That's not the case here. They go right back to Deuce Alexander, just other side of the field on DK Kaufman, the star NC State safety. And those are 2 throws that, hey, Bachmeier would like to have back, but he took a shot on that play. Tough quarterback hanging in the pocket.
Well, they've completely forgotten about the run game. They're averaging almost 9 yards per carry, but they've only handled the ball off 8 times. They're seemingly in drop back and throw mode every play, and they are again here, and the quarterback's blown up on the blitz by Caden Fordham.
We'll glance at our ace replay, seeing Bachmeier get hit. It's 3 straight plays where defensive coordinator Tony Gibson has heated things up on this quarterback. He's forcing these receivers to say, hey, can you win your one-on-one matchups on the outside? And Hank, can you deliver it on target? Let's see if on this 3rd down they go back to that same strategy of pressure on the quarterback.
0 for 3 on 3rd down, the Demon Deacons today. Trying to take the lead before halftime, and a timeout is called by Wake Forest. I don't know. You just sit there and you watch the way they went down the field on that first drive, Max, and they were running the ball, and now they have not even. Now you're in the last 2 minutes of the half, I get it, but they haven't even thought about running the ball.
Yeah, from an offensive standpoint, if they give you man coverage, you like to think you can trust your guys on the outside, but credit this NC State defensive line for getting pressure and the secondary for showing out.
Let's send it back to the guys in the studio. What's coming up at halftime?
Hail the pit, baby. There we go, Mike. Love it.
Man, you're making a lot of friends down here in North Carolina with that.
Hey, you know, I got to represent. Represent for my squad. When I'm on the East Coast, I'm a Pitt Panther.
That's right. That's right.
No more USC Trojan.
Of course. 3rd down to the end zone, leaping, and that is a touchdown. What a play by Fields. He had a big game last year against NC State. And how about this throw? But they said to Fields, go get it, young man. And the redshirt junior out of Thomasville, Georgia, does just that, and Wake back on top.
What a catch by Fields. That is trusting your playmaker to go out and make a play. On back-to-back-to-back plays, they throw vertical shots into the end zone of NC State. First 2 didn't work. 3rd time's the charm. Fields using that 6'3", 205 frame to just high point the ball and come down for the touchdown.
Well, Devon Marshall and Jihad Carter were right there. I mean, right there with Fields sandwiched in between them. But Fields comes down with the football and a score. And now the point after, and there's still time for NC State now with 1:28 and 2 timeouts remaining. It's been a good game. 17-13 Demon Deacons. How about this?
I love it. Trust your guy to go make a play. And that's on all accounts. It's Hank Bachmeier for pulling the trigger, and it's also offensive coordinator Warren Rochero. You know, it's hard as an offensive coordinator when you see the first 2 times when you call shot plays down in the end zone to come back to it a 3rd time. Trust him to make a play. That's big time right there.
Sure is. You know, Fields last year, he did not play in 22. They redshirted him. Then last year he played in 11 games but only caught 5 passes. 3 of those 5 came against NC State. And there you see the numbers on that drive, 60 yards.
They're trusting their veteran quarterback. And what a drive that was. We talked about it to start the drive. You got to spell your defense. A defense that had been on the field a bunch in this 2nd quarter. Not only do you do that on that drive, but you get momentum back for a team that's in their first road game of the season.
And from the 25 is where C.J. Bailey will put it in play on the next snap. And still plenty of time to try and generate points. And again, NC State will get the football back to start the 2nd half.
What a story Hank Bachmeier's been too. We talked about it. Started at Boise State. Had a lot of success as a young quarterback there. Hopped in the portal. Hand was forced a little bit. Went to Louisiana Tech. Then hopped back into the portal and had options of schools of where he wanted to go to. Landed at Wake Forest, and so far this season, in his last year of college football, doing some good things.
Bailey on first down. Good protection. Concepcion in the middle of the field. That'll be a gain of 7. Clock continues to run. 1:17 and 2 timeouts remain for the Wolfpack.
And I would do that almost every play of this drive. Have Concepcion right there in the middle, and if things aren't open downfield, check it down to him and allow him to do something after the catch with it.
Well, Rogers stays in bounds and then steps out of bounds, picks up a couple of more yards, and that's a first down up to the 39-yard line. And again, remember now, Vineset has a big leg.
You mentioned it, Tom. Usually as a receiver, you want him to go out of bounds, but he's saying, man, I can pick up another 3 or 4 yards.
Vineset is hit from 52 this season. Great protection. And Waters out of the backfield across midfield to the 47-yard line. Clock continues to roll, and now a timeout going to be called, or is it? No, they're just spotting the ball. Clock continues to run.
And remember, Devon Patterson, the nickelback for Wake Forest, was ejected from this game in the first quarter on a secondary that's already thin.
Bailey rolling, and oh, is that close? No, out of bounds. He nearly gave Cedarius Kelly a chance to intercept that pass along the sideline.
Let's check out the ace replay on this. Did he get that left or right foot down? Ref standing in the way. It looks like his left foot's on the white there. Almost a critical mistake by the young quarterback trying to throw the ball away.
41 ticks remain, 2 timeouts for NC State. Ball at the Demon Deacons 47-yard line. 5-man rush. They dump it off to Raphael out of the backfield. And he tiptoes around a would-be tackler, stays on his feet. First down, run out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Again, good job by Raphael making one man miss and then still getting out of bounds, allowing this clock to stop.
34 seconds left. Starting to knock on the door. Field goal range for Vineset. They're going to hand it off. Raphael is down to the 35-yard line, and now they're going to have to take a timeout. So 1 left, 29 seconds remain. A couple of field goals already today.
He'd be right at his career long here with the ball on the 36-yard line. He's made from 35 twice. You'd like to get in that zone here with 29 seconds left. Plenty of time to get one more chunk pass play. Make this a more manageable field goal.
He's only missed once all year long. He's 8 of 9 on the year. We told you a moment ago, but just to reiterate, his long this season, career long in fact, 52 yards.
Wake Forest will have a decision on their hands too. Do you support your secondary who's thin and struggled at times this year and drop another safety in coverage, or do you pressure a young quarterback and try to heat things up and cause a mistake?
Rogers at the bottom of your screen. And they're going to pick up some of that yardage to make it an easier field goal try. 25-yard line. Clock continues to run, and now they'll spot the ball and put the ball in play. 19, 18, 17. Bailey out of the shotgun. He has running room if he wants it, and he's going to run it. Slides down inside the 20 at the 17-yard line. Clock down to 8, and a timeout by NC State. What do you take, one shot here, Max Brown, at the end zone, or do you just send out the field goal unit?
You got to kick the field goal, because the concern is if you hold on to that ball at all and you throw a vertical shot, you're flirting. 8 seconds is right on the edge. we'd always say 6 or 7 is the absolute maximum. 8's probably risking it too much, and your young quarterback's already done a great job on this drive.
Well, he's done a great job in his game.
He really has. He really has. Not an easy situation to come into. All week in practice, I'm sure Grayson got the first team reps. For a guy like C.J. Bailey, had the last 2 starts, you probably feel like you're just now getting in rhythm. Then you have to go back to the second team, and he hasn't flinched at all. Said this a couple times in this game too, but the play calling and just the overall vibe of this offense has been much more explosive, continuing to allow him to open up the ball or open up the passing attack. Already 26 attempts in this game, and he didn't even start the game, and we're only in the first half.
And that's a career best, by the way, 19 completions. Grayson McCall having to leave the game on a stretcher, was rushed to the hospital if you weren't with us, and now Wake Forest going to call a timeout.
Dave Clawson asking himself the same situation as if they do take a shot play, what formation would they line up in? Going to talk to his bunch about how to defend it.
Yeah, brains spilling all over the field with 8 seconds left.
Has to be a pass here. Can't run the ball. Five-yard out pass to the sideline doesn't really do you much. And now they're going to take him out and trust your kicker.
Yep. Well, he's had a pair of them today from 35 yards. This will be a couple of yards beyond that. Noonkester, the punter, is the holder. And Vineset to try and make it a 1-point lead. Well, he's been money. He has been money. 3 seconds left, and it's a 17-16 Wake Forest lead. Well, these two teams, I mean, they are putting it up in the air. You've got 18 pass attempts so far by Bachmeier, and NC State has thrown the ball 31 times in this first half.
Night and day different from last week, and specialists have been a weapon for this NC State team too. You've seen Vineset today. Last week, Caden Noonkester, their punter, was the Ray Guy punter of the week. That was a weapon, and you can make the argument that field position won him that game versus NIU.
Yeah, he had 8 punts in that game. 7 of them were inside the 20-yard line, and he averaged 50 yards a boot. So between the defense basically scoring 2 touchdowns, they were given credit for 1, but they had the other one where they get it to the ball to the offense at the 2-yard line. Defense and special teams won that game last week. I still can't believe NIU lost that game last week.
It's a good football team.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good football team. Not often you talk about a MAC team being borderline more physical than an ACC team.
And there goes our buddy Ripken. He's back for more. Look at him.
There we go.
Look at a big fella.
Rocking his red jersey. He knows his role. Talk about doing your role. That's what Doran wants. His guys to do his role. It's a great job.
Look at that tail. He's looking for a treat now. I mean, you got to take care of him. If he goes out there and does his job, like you said, he understands his role. They're not asking him to do too much. You got to pay it off with a treat.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah. He's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean,
that was our deal.
He might think differently the next time we have a kickoff.
We'll have a couple more opportunities in this game.
So that's the end of the first half, a very entertaining first half. It's an important game. Fill your beer, though. You know,
start tripping all the way down.
All the way down.
It's bad if you finish your beer, you got to get another one. How do you get all the way down?
You got to
pack a cooler.
Or walk uphill. Let's go downstairs to Trevor.
Tom, as you mentioned, quarterback Grayson McCall made his return to the starting lineup today, but unfortunately did suffer that brutal hit in the first quarter. Most recent news that we have is that he's on the Wake Med Riley campus location getting treatment and figuring out exactly what his return to play will look like. We'll keep you posted on any updates when we get them.
All right, Trev, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I mean, it was so quiet in this stadium. And we decided here at CW Network we were not going to run the replay Now, maybe if we get some good news later, perhaps we'll consider it. But it was not something that we were going to do. It wasn't a dirty play, but it was a vicious pair of hits.
You saw that graphic too, the NC State offense. C.J. Bailey setting a career high in completions and attempts. It was only in that first half. Did some good things at the quarterback position, and honestly, the stat that sticks out for me is time of possession. Well, why did they have so much time of possession? 7 for 10 on third down. Remember, last week they were 1 for 11. Totally different story today.
Blitz coming. Bailey able to step away from it and throw it out of bounds. It'll bring up, as Hazen was the one getting chased there, it'll bring up third down and 3.
That's an important factor in this game too. Wake's ability to get pressure with 4 and 5. Put a lot of pressure on this NC State playmakers, seeing they did a good job of mixing in Waters and Raphael at the running back position, and then Casey Concepcion, they did a bunch with him. At only 5 receptions there, had a couple carries. A lot in the motion game from an eye candy standpoint too.
Third down and 3, and quarterback going to run it, and this is not going to fool anybody. Played beautifully on defense by the Demon Deacons. And that is Jamari Glasgow.
And Bryce Gaines makes this play, 55, the defensive tackle.
Yep.
Gets that pressure right away. We've talked about it on multiple occasions. The defensive tackles for Wake Forest, that is one of their strong suits on this defense. Gaines is showing out and allowing his buddies to come up and make a play.
They have big expectations for Jamari Glasgow. He's only a redshirt sophomore. Got a lot of playing time last year. Very short punt, and let's see where they spot it. 43-yard line. So each team's had one of those today. Only a 30-yard punt. We talked about the running game. It started so well for Wake Forest, but then just decided to stop running the ball.
And there weren't that many plays, too, but you're right. They're trusting the right arm of Hank Bachmeier. But Damon Claiborne, he's their big-time playmaker. We've seen some receivers come on today. Fields, Deuce Alexander for Wake Forest. But at the end of the day, getting Damon Claiborne #1 touches is key.
And he gets one right from the get-go, and that is an excellent, excellent open field tackle made by Fordham.
Let's check out the ace replay, and we're going to see Caden Fordham. It's a great job at the middle linebacker spot. Almost gets juked. Seeing the arm strength, upper body strength, able to pull down an elusive ball carrier.
Gain of a yard. Empty backfield on a 2nd down and 9 from the 44. Blitz coming, and down goes Bachmeier. And that is a fumble. Sean Brown moved from free safety to linebacker at the end of last year. Team captain, big hitter, and he delivers the goods here.
And man, is he coming on this season. 13 tackles a week ago. Gets pressure on that one and says, hey, a sack's not enough. Let me get the strip sack and change this ball game. Getting momentum back on his team's side. This is a linebacker unit. We talked about Fordham the play before. Sean Brown there. He had to replace Peyton Wilson, the star linebacker from a year ago. These backers took some time to have them get rolling. But man, that tandem between 10 Fordham and 0 Sean Brown really coming on.
Betty was also there on the hit of the quarterback. It was Betty and Brown basically arriving at the same time.
Betty's that third guy too. Very interesting point. NC State in the transfer portal era has never taken a transfer linebacker. Speaks to how complex their defense is, and they want those backers to be homegrown in this system.
Right on the 1st down, play action, and looking for the home run ball. And just out of the reach of Wesley Grimes. Man, was that close. Good coverage by Sedarius Kelly. He's a guy that's in there for Devon Patterson.
Great coverage. Good job getting his eyes back, Kelly. You're pushing him to the sideline, using the sideline as a 12th defender, meaning the quarterback can't throw it over the shoulder for the receiver. That's textbook coverage. You're tight on his hip, get your eyes back. Yes, it's physical on the outside, but that's textbook.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the Wake Forest 35-yard line. Wake leading by a point. And Raphael picks his way inside the 35, down to the 32. It'll bring up a 3rd down for NC State.
And this is what Dave Clawson was talking about with Trev at halftime, too. A little bit of the bend but don't break defensive mentality. You're put in a tough position. Your offense gave up a fumble, but here you are, 3rd and 7. Can you find a way to just get off the field?
Well, they stopped him on a 3rd down the first drive of this 2nd half. We'll see here. They're within field goal range right now. And Concepcion threw his hands in the air as if to say, what just happened? So this is going to be right around a 50-yard field goal try. We told you already that Kanoa Vineset has hit from 52 this year. He's 3 for 3 in the game today. 35, 35, 37. Officially, it will be a 49-yard attempt. Perfect snap. Good hold and bending left. No good. Only the 2nd miss all season long and the 1st miss today for Vineset in 4 tries. Wake, good field position when we come back.
.org or text Helene to 90999.
And thank you, Trevor. Those are the organizations that are truly making a difference. Here's Claiborne, first big carry since the opening quarter, and that'll be a gain of 12 on 1st down.
Seeing that patience in the burst right there. Works towards the right side A gap, bounces it back to the left side A gap. It's a good first down run for Wake Forest.
7 carries, 42 yards. Well, they had a wide open receiver. He missed him and then misfired, and it's a 2nd straight turnover by Bachmeier. The fumble a moment ago and just a poorly thrown ball here. And he says, yep, that's on me.
Yeah, look like a miscommunication on a route standpoint. Tight end hooks it up like a curl route. Bachmeier throws it like a dig route. Miscommunication. Bachmeier, like you saw right there, saying that's my fault. Back-to-back turnovers in back-to-back possessions that NC State defense has generated.
Well, you heard from Dave Clawson when he was with Trevor at halftime talking about, we haven't had the ball a lot, but we've taken care of the ball, and now here you start the 2nd half and 2 straight turnovers. NC State going all the way back to 2021, only the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky with more interceptions.
Makes sense, too. A 3-3-5 defense, meaning you're always having 5 DB bodies out there. Big reason why they're able to get those interceptions.
Here's Waters. He's hit at the 40. Maybe got to the 41. That'll be a gain of 4 on 1st down.
So far through this 2nd half, you had offenses that to end the 1st half, both Wake and NC State had good momentum. Both solid drives to end the 1st half. And then so far the 2nd half, it's been the defense's story. It's almost like which defense is going to blink first.
Fake the pitch, and Bailey looking down the middle of the field for Concepcion and batted away. That is great coverage downfield. And once again, it is Glasgow.
We've said it a couple times, trying to get their star player Concepcion involved in this game. Deep shot down the field. It's a great job by Glasgow. Getting that right hand in there. Not able to time up the jump from Concepcion's standpoint. That's difficult for any receiver to do. And these corners, I know, C.J. Bailey's had some success in this game, but for the most part, they've eliminated the big play, the knockout punch type of throw down the field.
Third down, Bailey under pressure. That's a hold against NC State. He carries for the first down, but this one's coming back. Right side of that offensive line.
Holding. Offense number 52. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
To right guard Timothy McKay.
And it's against Camden Hardy. And, man, he's flashed in this game today. The true freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. What a luxury that would be for Wake Forest. If you can have Hardy really come on one side of the defensive end, Jasheen Davis, who we've talked about, the veteran presence on the other side at the defensive end spot, and then the
Painter, and he leads them in sacks with 4.5. Pointer, I beg your pardon. I said Painter. So third down and 16 after the 10-yard penalty. Waters is tackled just across the 40, and it'll be another punt for NC State.
Dave Doran spent a lot of time this week talking about holding penalties too. It's been a theme for this offense the past couple of weeks. Last week had 3 holding penalties that Doran thought were drive killers. He was saying, hey, they're calling it as tight as I've seen it, but that one was clear. But again, that same thing happened last week. If you get these edge rushers and your offensive line's not in the right spot, you can get penalized and it stops the drive.
Taylor Morin stands inside his 15. This is where Noonkester was so good last week, but not as successful today. He was the best punter in the nation 1 week ago today. That's just a 33-yard punt. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon.
Quarterbacks phase 2, Hank Bachmeier, when he got playmakers out wide like that. Horatio Fields going up and getting the thing. Celebrating with his buddies as well. That was a third down conversion, high point in that ball. 2 NC State defenders around, making his play caller and his quarterback happy.
Claiborne able to avoid one tackle, and now has a big hole down the right side. He's across midfield and run out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. Bishop Fitzgerald finally able to shove him off, but here's the big miss right there.
Great agility by Claiborne there in the backfield, and then Horatio Fields, who we just talked about, was the receiver on that right side that kept blocking the whole way. You want to get more passes your way as a receiver, block downfield.
Claiborne again, and he just leans ahead. Trevor?
Fellas, y'all were talking about the effectiveness of that 3-3-5 defense earlier. 57 interceptions for NC State since 2021. Another element of it is the pressures and simulated pressures that you can show with that defense. All 5 of those DBs are involved in both the run and pass game, and all of them can show pressure and confuse the quarterback at times.
Well, there's no question, and they're getting a lot of turnovers. They played great last week. The defense won in the game last week. That could have been a flag. It is a flag. I mean, there's laundry all over the field. That'll be a 15-yard spot of a 15-yard penalty against NC State.
Pass interference. Defense number 16. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
It's Devon Marshall.
Yeah, Taylor Morin, we've talked about how good of a season he's had. Yet Marshall just grabbing the left arm of Morin, not allowing him to catch the ball. Wake Forest has had some success on those slant routes outside breaking in.
I mean, Wake today, not much from Donovan Green. They're without Walker Merrill. So turning to some of the youngsters in that wide receiver room. And a timeout called by State. Boy, those are the ones that just make you crazy, don't they? It's a first down. The ball's at the 34-yard line. And with, halfway through roughly this third quarter, and you're having to burn one there.
Totally.
Defense. Well, look ahead to next weekend. We'll be in Kenan Stadium. North Carolina against Georgia Tech. North Carolina right now on the short end of a 7-point game at home against Pitt. Midway through the third quarter, Pittsburgh undefeated this year. A couple of miracle come from behind wins. So when you're on the East Coast, you're a Pitt guy. And when you're on the West Coast, you're an SC guy.
You know it. In the lobby at halftime, talking with the former NC State players. Yeah, I'm a Pitt guy. Played against each other in 2017. It's refreshing because I'm in Southern California. I'm usually a USC guy. I like being Pitt guy. Hail to Pitt, baby.
Now, do you change that when you go, deep in the South? When you go deep south?
I haven't done that much.
Northeast?
That's new for me.
Okay.
I'll let you know as the season
I'm
progresses.
sure it'll be Alabama or Georgia. It'll be one of those two, probably.
Go for the Pacific Northwest. I'm a Seattle Northwest guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Where I grew up.
That's right.
A little bit of everything.
Catch is made on a high throw over near the sideline. First of time we've called Harry Lodge's name, the redshirt sophomore from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
And it's the first time we've talked about the slow mesh or seen the slow mesh really evident there, where you are riding that football. It's a full 2 count in the backfield. It's what makes Wake Forest's offense extremely unique. They're doing that to get the linebackers to commit to the run. Then they're able to pull it and throw the rock to their tight end like we saw there.
Very important conference game for these two teams. Oh my gosh, Bachmeier just hurried the throw. That should have been another touchdown.
And it's that same action, that same slow mesh. And defensively, the coaching point is pressure the mesh point. Look how fast NC State gets to the mesh point. Don't allow Hank Bachmeier to just sit back there and survey the field. You heat things up on him, it forced the errant throw.
Looked like movement along that offensive line.
Ball start off the 54, 5-yard
Matt
penalty.
Goldman.
It's still second down.
Goldman is a redshirt junior, second-year starter. He's had to move around a lot with some of the, nicks and scrapes along that offensive line, starting with Pettibon, the center. Goldman's gone from left guard to right guard, back to left guard in this game.
And I like the strategy from Wake Forest, too. They rotated. They called it a 3-way roll with their tackles and their guards. When you have guys that can play, get them in the rhythm of the game, so when injuries do happen, it's not like you're bringing in a guy who hasn't played any snaps all year.
Blitz coming. Bachmeier able to connect inside the 25, close to the 23-yard line to Alexander. Third down.
These receivers all day have made some contested catches. Deuce Alexander's had a couple of them. That ball is way out of his body frame. Not easy to make that catch just in general, let alone when you have an NC State defender draped around you. Had a similar third down like this when Fields scored in the second quarter. They go vertical again. He's got one-on-one at the bottom of your screen.
Third down and 13. They need to get to the 10-yard line. And here comes a blitz. He gets rid of it. My goodness. I mean, Bachmeier has missed. Now, granted, he's been under pressure, but there wasn't a red shirt within 15 yards of 5 guys.
They're going to get number 10 right here. He's blitzing, and this is a screen pass all day long. It's the perfect offensive call, but Bachmeier just can't get the ball up and down enough. That's touchdown if he gets it just over the defenders. Credit Caden Fornham, the middle linebacker for NC State, for getting home, but as a quarterback, the teaching point there is just find a way. You know you're going to get hit. Find a way to get the ball up and down, and that would have been 6 points. 41-yard try by Matthew Dennis, and it is good. So Wake extends the lead, making it a 20-16 advantage. 6:28 to go in the third. That's a big-time game right there. I mean, SMU and Louisville. Louisville has lost once. And SMU has lost once. First year in the league, of course, for the Mustangs, and they got a nice team. That's on the road at Louisville. Tough place to win. Well, get ready, wrestling fans. NXT is all new and live from St. Louis, Missouri. That's Tuesday night. Special appearance by the Viper, legend Randy Orton. Watch as he faces NXT's rising star, Javon Evans. Don't miss an all-new NXT Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on the CW. Trev is ready to go at it with one of those guys. Serious, we got to get Trev in a cut sleeve polo or something down there.
No doubt.
Look the part. Works out like the part, that's for sure.
He does.
Dude doesn't mess around.
No. They're not messing around to start this drive. As a catch by Rogers up to the 39-yard line.
Bailey seems to be coming up hobbled a little bit. He's running up quickly, though. Walking gingerly on that left leg, it looks like. And they have those comeback throws all day. We've seen that a few times to Noah Rogers. Wake Forest's defensive mentality is just, hey, if they're going to have those, that's fine. Just don't give up the big play. Force this young quarterback to keep together long drives of 8, 9, 10 plays.
Well, they've had 2 turnovers to work with in this half and have not scored a single point off the turnovers. Bailey with his legs well enough to run for 8 yards.
Guess any question about him being banged up? He looks fine there.
Yeah.
That's the added element to his game. He does a lot within the pocket that you like, but when things do break down, he's able to use his legs, and that's always the growth of a young quarterback too, is knowing when to pull that toolkit out of your box right there.
Well, you know, he led him on a touchdown drive, did Bailey, in his first series after replacing McCall, but it's been field goals or missed chances ever since, and of course that one's not on him. That is a rare straight drop by Concepcion.
Love the anticipation by Bailey, working left in the pocket, delivers this before Concepcion gets out of his break, and I think if Kevin had it back, he'd stick his hands out and catch it away from his body. Don't let that ball jump into your body, and I think you can see some frustration on his face right there. They've tried to dial him up today, and for one reason or another, it hasn't necessarily worked out.
It's such an incredible freshman year last season. It's a 3rd down, and I don't know if he got there. Depending on where they're going to spot it, it looked like he came down short of the 1st down by maybe a yard. Or did they give him? They gave him the 1st down. Wow. I'm sure that Coach Clausen is none too happy about that spot. Let's see.
This is a phenomenal second effort by Kendrick Raphael. You can see Jamari Glasker. He triggers right away, forces that juke. Good thing he's able to use that left hand too.
Yep.
Basically as an additional leg right there to stay up. He needed that extra foot.
Yeah, in fact, I thought that was his elbow in real speed that had come down, but clearly that would have marked him down, but he extended that arm and that hand and was able to pick it up, so a good call. Bailey rolling in the middle of the field. He finds Raphael, and he's run out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Would be a 1st down. There is a penalty flag in the backfield.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 30. 15-yard penalty. Automatic.
They're going to get Jasheen Davis, and he's frustrated with himself. He knew it right when they went to the ground. It's a little bit of a ticky-tack foul here. He's going to get draped around Bailey's legs a little bit. You can tell he's trying to hold up, knowing that he was late to the party. Can't do that. It's a good job by Bailey getting the ball out of his hands.
All right, so trailing by 4. NC State sneaking up on that red zone. 1st down at the 25 after the 15-yard penalty. Raphael again trying to break it. He just runs right through Dylan Hazen. Oh my goodness.
Check out the ace replay here. You can see him bounce it out, and then he's just lowering the shoulder, lowering the head, to be honest. Catches Hazen off balance. And 2 strong runs by Raphael this drive. We've talked about the 1-2 punch between Waters and Raphael showed out today.
Gain of 5 on that run. And once more, Raphael with running room. 1st down and more inside the 5 and into the end zone to give the Wolfpack the lead. is the third rushing touchdown for Kendrick Raphael this season.
A little bit of everything from Raphael on that drive. What a cut that was. The vision. Put his foot in the ground, make a guy miss in the hole. Showing the elusiveness to get in there for a touchdown.
Back and forth. This one today, point after is good. 23-20, NC State now jumps in front.
Look at the way Raphael cuts back against the grain. Behind his big center, Zeke Correll, he washes it to the right. The speedster running back cuts right behind. That's a big hole and a great job by that NC State offensive line. And that really felt like the first drive of this game where, you know, the rushing attack was a huge factor. So much pass emphasis in this game for both teams. Raphael kicking the door open on the run game today.
Yeah, Correll is my favorite player in the Brenneman household in this conference, because he went to the same high school that I went to in Cincinnati, and he went to the same college before transferring from Notre Dame as my bride.
Oh, there we go. Little Notre Dame.
He's got it going on.
That's amazing.
Correll.
Love that. Always got to have the Cincinnati shout out.
You got to. I mean, this guy was a 3-year starter at Notre Dame. 31 starts over his last 3 seasons, and playing his final year here in Raleigh.
It was cool seeing you go up to him at practice.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell he knew a reference was coming, but I don't think he was expecting that kind of reference, which is amazing. Got to hit home.
No doubt. He wasn't even born the last time I had a job. Out to the 25-yard line we go.
What's the mascot of Anderson?
Well, you know, we're one of those schools that changed like the Washington Redskins.
Got it. Got it. New era.
Yeah. So now the Raptors, the #1 ranked team in the state of Ohio, football, D2.
Love that. It's a good mascot.
Big time. No, not really. Not really. I mean, it looks like Barney. I don't tie in Barney and football. Do you?
Is it purple? Is it a purple school?
Yeah, purple.
All right,
no, it's not purple. But for some reason, Barney is.
Yeah, Barney doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
but the Toronto Raptors have a sweet mascot.
Well, that surprised Fields. And that looked like it was designed especially for him. What happened there?
Yeah, go a little glance route. It's too much mustard on it. Probably a good thing that it wasn't a little bit more accurate. Could have gone picked. It's a big drive for Wake Forest too. NC State wore down a little bit of this Wake Forest defense offensively for the Demon Deacons. Gotta sustain a drive here.
Well, here in this half, they've turned it over twice, and they have missed at least 3 touchdown passes to wide open receivers. And now Bachmeier is dropped back at the 26-yard line. Betty was there, among others.
This is a team defense sack right here. Bachmeier's working through his progressions, and there's just nobody open. Tries to step up and be a factor with his legs. And NC State and Devon Betty coming up big.
All right, so a 3rd down and 13. They need to get to the 35-yard line to keep this drive alive, or State gets good field position. 2:15 to go in the 3rd. Play clock down to 1. They just do get it off. Here comes the blitz, and I mean, this is a lot of miscommunication going on right now between the quarterback and his skill position players. Well, what do you think's happening in so many of these, Max?
Yeah, a lot of those routes, it's a read on the outside. If the receiver feels like the DB's off, he can chop it down for a curl right at the sticks. Bachmeier didn't see it that way and was trying to go vertical up the top, and that's been consistent all day. North Carolina State is bringing pressure, going man on the outside. It's not like you're double covering guys in deep zones, but to go 3 and out there, credit the NC State defense for getting off the field.
Concepcion standing at his own 40. Near the sideline, and that ball will bounce out of bounds right around the 35. So 1:59 to play in the 3rd. Wake Forest offensively has turned it over twice here in the second half. Been forced to punt a couple of times. And NC State cashing in on its last drive after not taking advantage of either one of the turnovers, but coming away with a touchdown on the run by Raphael to take this 3-point lead.
This feels like a big drive for Wake Forest defense. You can see NC State right there. They're having the momentum. They're having the juice. It's been a bend but don't break defense for Wake Forest. The run game for NC State opened up last drive. Got to put an end to that this drive.
Anderson able to leapfrog a defender. He's out across the 40. Good pickup on first down.
Little screen pass, seeing the athleticism of Anthony Belton, NC State's left tackle, getting out there.
They call him Escalade.
What a nickname.
That's a big-time nickname.
What a nickname.
He's darn near as big as an Escalade.
356 is a big man.
Yeah, that is. Huge hole. And a nice play by Glasgow to kind of, yeah, they got a first down, but it looked like that could have gone for a lot more than that. There's a big fella out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Just talking with a scout in the lobby before the game. They're looking at him. He's got a NFL type of trajectory. We said 6'6", 356. Started every game at left tackle for them last season. Was suspended last game for a spitting incident, but by all accounts, first-class guy. They love him. And glad that he's got the blind side for their young quarterback.
I think Florida State could use him this year on their offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
Playing Clemson later tonight. First down, throw, and catch. Concepcion. That'll be a gain of 10 on what will probably be. No, they look like they're in hurry up.
I like that design.
No, they're going to huddle up. That's going to be the end of the quarter.
I like it. You put Concepcion and Justin Jolie on the same side of the field. A little two-man concept. Hard to win there if you're the secondary.
All right, we got a game here. Bailey has come on and been really good today. And his team will go into the fourth quarter on the home front, leading 23-20. 15 minutes to go from Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh.
Screen during that timeout. Big moment in the game here.
Waters for maybe a yard. Some of the numbers through the first 3 quarters of play. Look at the play differential.
Night and day different. There's not that many third downs from Wake Forest. NC State doing a good job. Just time of possession. It's been the key factor in this game, and especially as you get into the fourth quarter. How does that take a toll on this Wake Forest front seven defensively is the question.
Bachmeier's had a tough day. We thought he might get to the 10,000-yard career passing mark. But Bailey is the one who's been very impressive today. That's Wesley Grimes to the 30-yard line. And a Wolfpack first down.
It's an accurate strike from Bailey. Trusting his guy on the outside lane. We've seen that route a few times, that curl or comeback.
Trayvon West is the injured Demon Deacon.
He's on balance, good footwork. Ball just pops out of his hands. Clean spiral right on the face mask. It's a good QB play.
He was the one that made the tackle there. Tried to get up.
Yeah, Trayvon West got rolled up on it. That ankle, trying to make that tackle. The reserve corner for Wake Forest.
Gonna need some help just to get on his feet. Yep, he's hurt. These are all career bests for Bailey. Yards, attempts, completions. And for those of you that were not with us, Grayson McCall started this game and took a pair of vicious hits on the same play and had to be taken off on a stretcher. We're still hoping to get some good news as to his condition in the hospital. Concepcion out of the backfield carries down to the 21-yard line.
Sometimes as a backup quarterback too, when you just get in the ball game, as we're seeing the run right there to Concepcion. We've talked about it many times today, different ways to get the ball in his hands. But back to C.J. Bailey, sometimes when you're a backup quarterback and you're just thrust into action and don't have the whole week to think about, hey, the stakes and every last read and triple think, double think, the whole deal, and just go out there and just play ball. I feel like we're seeing a little bit of that from C.J. Bailey today, of just go out there and react. Because game plan-wise, play call-wise, it's been a lot different than last week.
Down to the end zone, and it is a touchdown! What a grab by Jolie! And what a throw by Bailey! I mean, that has Scott jumping up and down from Scott's, cheering after that incredible play.
That's an awesome throw by the young quarterback who's getting more and more confident with each quarter that goes by. Trusting his guy, Justin Jolie, to make a play across the middle. Putting it where only he can go get a rebound. Comes down with it in the end zone. It's a great throw and catch.
Point after for Vineset. NC State has not missed a point after since 2017, if you can believe that. And how about this throw and catch? Jolie in traffic.
Pass rushers too, man. Bradley Chubb was a beast. Mario Williams, obviously same deal.
Pitt down the road has just taken a lead over North Carolina 31-24. We'll see the Tar Heels next week here on the CW Network. They have been reeling after getting off to a good start, down to their third quarterback on the year. And what else is going on around football? Let's check back in with Mike and Pitsy in the studio, guys. Man, it's hard to believe, Mike.
Especially with Castellanos back, too. It's a Boston College squad that had a good month of September.
Tell you, the surprise of the day is A&M against Missouri. First down run, long way to go in this one. We have 13 minutes and a 10-point NC State lead, but Texas A&M has piled up over 250 rushing yards, 270 passing yards. A&M is just hammering ninth-ranked Missouri 41-7. Man, the biggest winner out of that deal is Notre Dame.
Totally. Frees up another spot. Should they? I think Notre Dame's in regardless if they win out.
But I mean, remember, they went down the season opener and they beat A&M at A&M. You know, they lost against a team we saw last week in Northern Illinois. But Notre Dame has played better lately, moving up in the rankings, but it makes them look a lot better the way A&M at home is handling allegedly a top 10 team.
A huge third down here. You have to think you might be in 4-down territory too. I know you're up in your own side of the field, but at this stage in the game, you might have to have that mindset.
Third down and the long two, and able to sneak through there, Claiborne. I just don't know why they have not run the ball more today. I really don't understand it. Bachmeier's not having a good day.
I think Coach probably agrees with you too. Giving Claiborne 2 carries this drive. Now up to 12 total on this drive. If he breaks through and keeps his balance there too, he might have a house call. A lot of time left in this game. You can have a long sustained drive here and still be fine in this ball game.
And Bachmeier posts it up. He's hit. It looks like Wake Forest covered it up.
Saw it last week when they brought DK Kaufman on a safety blitz. This week it's Tamarcus Cooley from that nickel spot. Gets around the edge, causes that fumble. I don't know how NC State didn't come down with that. Heads up play by, I believe it was Nick Sharp on the bottom of the pile coming up with that thing.
So a loss of 2, second down and 12. Good protection this time now, having to run around. And over near the far sideline, nobody was open, and then a late hit, and that is a silly penalty on NC State. I think they got Betty back there.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic down.
So Bachmeier is going to throw this ball, and then how many steps after? 1, 2, and the full hit. You're also got to be wary of the going to the head or neck area of a quarterback, regardless of how many steps you have. That's something to be front of mind with. I think that might be what Betty's forgetting about.
I mean, this has been a house of horrors on offense after, you know, first half you put up 20 points.
Put up 10 real quick. This game was 10-0 Wake Forest.
17, forgive me, yeah.
Yeah, ever since that first quarter, Bachmeier is just a lot of incompletions.
And yet they just keep on throwing it. Every time they look over there, it's a pass play. And here's another one. Blitz coming. Bachmeier gets it away down the sideline. He had a pair of targets down there. He had Fields along with Morin. Second down.
It's really been the theme of this day. You have NC State's defense and their defensive coordinator, Tony Gibson, bringing a bunch of pressure. It's just man coverage. There's no disguising. There's no confusion for the quarterback. It's, hey, we believe our DBs are better than your receivers. Prove us wrong. Sometimes Wake Forest has come down with it. So far in this second half, NC State's had the upper hand.
Beautifully read along that defensive front by Travali Price. Trevor, you know, you played running back at Harvard. You know, are you with me? Why aren't they running it more?
Oh, I'm irate that they haven't run the ball, but that's just a personal thing. But I do believe that the offense is structured to give a lot of reads to that quarterback and Hank Bachmeier, right? And when they are sending pressure, when they are declaring exactly what they are doing, it forces him to pull and then make a read off of the vacated blitzer or whatever pressure maker that they have. So I can see why they may be going to more run pass options, even though it's not necessarily intentional.
Almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Claiborne. So now it's fourth down. You're trailing by 10 with 9:34 to go. And it looks like the Demon Deacons are going to go for it.
And that's the second screen they've dialed up to Claiborne in this second half. That if he catches that cleanly, that one can go. We saw it 2 drives ago on the other end zone. When they watch that film on Monday, those are going to be missed opportunities just from an execution standpoint. They're very timely play calls that they're there if they just come down with the catch.
Empty backfield, 4-man rush. Trying to convert on fourth down. And Bachmeier's going to run it. He's going to get it all the way inside the 35-yard line to keep their hopes alive. They spot it at the 32, first down.
As we look at the ace replay, watch just the A gaps right in the center of the defense. You're not keeping your rushing lanes. It's hard to do that. You're trying to pin your ears back. Hank Bachmeier is a capable runner. Hefty too, 215, putting his shoulder down a little bit, getting some extra yards.
Under 9 to go, and Wake with the football, trailing by 10. Claiborne looking for a hole, and he finds one. And he's off to the races, and he will score a touchdown. Damon Claiborne, 32-yard touchdown scamper. And that makes it a 30-27 with a point after. And Scott from Scott's is back and cheering that incredible run.
What a juke this was by Damon Claiborne. You said it, Tom. Get him the rock. Allow him to run this football. He puts his foot in the ground, jukes out that corner. He's their best player on offense for a reason. Great job by Wake Forest getting the rock on that drive.
So now the point after to make it a one-score game, a three-point game. And that's what it is. We got a game, 8:43 to go. And how about our guy, Damon Claiborne, 122 rushing yards on just 14 attempts. CW Football Saturday presented by Verizon.
Jolie, that is, and we find ourselves neck and neck in the fourth quarter.
Boys, good game. Hadn't been the prettiest game, but it's been a good game. Competitive game, tight, a lot of lead changes. And it'll be 1st and 10 for NC State. Now, you know, with 8:43 to go, you don't expect the offense to go 14 plays and chew up 7.5 minutes on a drive like this. But you got to hang on to the football for a while, and clearly, if you can get some points, all the better.
And the stat that jumps out for me is this no interceptions right there. He had the same thing last week. It was the difference in the game. They won the turnover margin. For a young quarterback, that's something you're always monitoring. Wake Forest on the other side is saying, man, let's heat things up and try to create a turnover on this drive.
30-27, turn around and hand it off to Waters, and Wake saw that coming. That'll be a loss of a yard, maybe two. Each team, I beg your pardon, NC State used that one timeout midway through the third quarter on defense. So the Wolfpack with 2 left, Wake with 3.
They're going to need their big defensive end, Jasheen Davis. That last play, Zach Lovichin at the defensive tackle spot beat the NC State offensive lineman. It's a good start for the Demon Deacon defense.
Gonna throw it. Far side, reception made, but short of a first down as the catch is made by Anderson. So this is a huge third down for both teams. Now, I mean, I say huge. There's still a lot of time left. But Wake trying to put up a 3 and out and get the ball right back.
And in this scenario, we've seen a lot of Justin Jolie from NC State. We've seen him dial up some things for Kevin Concepcion in the slot as well. Keep an eye out for both those guys.
3rd down and 4. They need to get to the 35-yard line. Here comes a blitz. And it's incomplete. Looking for Raphael. Was being chased by Davis and Quincy Bryant. So it is a 3-and-out stop for the Demon Deacons defensively.
And it's a good job, stunt game by these defensive linemen. Getting your best pass rusher, Jasheen Davis. Allow him to have a one-on-one matchup or create confusion on the right side of the offensive line. Love the call by defensive coordinator Brad Lambert for, again, trying to heat things up on a young quarterback.
Taylor Morin does have a punt return for a touchdown this year. Penalty flag well behind the line of scrimmage. Fair catch at the 17-yard line, but we wait on the penalty here. They may make them punt this again. Now, if this is against a defense.
Illegal formation, kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
Okay. So Dave Claus's team with a chance. He was going to be against NC State, and it was that they'd make him re-kick it. It was better than a 50-yard punt. And now you have Morin standing at his own 30. But we know what kind of leg that Noonkester has. Boy, this is a bomb here, all the way back to the 20. Morin cuts it back up to the inside. Good return, 15-yard return by Morin. And good field position with 7:07 left for the team on the short end of this 30-27 score. It's not been a sharp day for Bachmeier. 12 of 28 for 109 yards. He's thrown a pick. He's fumbled for a turnover. He's thrown 2 touchdowns. Now, the last drive, they did not throw the ball one time. They ran the ball every play and scored a touchdown.
It's almost like you were play calling, Tom. You were asking for it.
Well, they might ought to think about it. I'm sure they are. But you know they'll throw it on first down now. A little option here, and they pitch it. Claiborne looking for room and none there. You can't play that play, the option, better defensively than NC State just did.
Well said. Looked like it was Betty at the linebacker spot, that Sam linebacker spot. It's Hank Bachmeier's job to read the pitch man. The pitch man was Betty. Well, when you're athletic and taking the quarterback, but then still keeping your leverage to get outside on Claiborne, it's a great job by Betty at that Sam linebacker spot.
All right, so loss of a yard. Second down and 11. Still Claiborne in the backfield. And they give it to him. Good hold up through the middle. Got a big chunk of it back, but it brings up a third down. They'll spot it at the 42-yard line. 3rd and 3.
Look at the ace replay right here. He's running behind his big tight end, Henry Lodge, 6'6", 240. Again, seeing that patience that Claiborne has, and then right when he sees the lane, it's the burst to get it.
All right, so a 3rd down and 3. Wake Forest needs to get up to the 45-yard line for a first down. Handed off to the wide receiver, and depending on the spot here, Deuce Alexander, it looks like they gave him enough for the first down. They did to the 45.
Love the play call by offensive coordinator Warren Ricciero. Defense is expecting an inside zone run play. We've seen that all day. The first time we've seen a little jet sweep getting Deuce Alexander involved. We've called his name a few times, making contested catches right there, getting involved in the run game.
Needed 3, got 3. Fresh set of downs, trailing by 3. Is Wake with 5:30 to go. Back to the ground, and Damon Claiborne, he didn't see much room, so he just dove forward and is able to pick up 3.
I'll tell you what, that slow mesh, which we've talked about a couple times today, where they're really riding that handoff in there to force the defense to commit. They're asking their receivers to hold on to their blocks for a long time. It's a good thing they have Horatio Fields, 6'3", 205 to that side. He's done a good job blocking so far today.
It's actually a gain of 2. So 2nd down and 8. Blown up right from the start. They brought the house defensively right there. Did NC State, dialed up by Tony Gibson.
Yeah, they're going to bring DK Kaufman right here from the safety spot. He lines up like he's in man-to-man coverage and then sneaks in at the last spot. I mean, you're talking 2, 4, 6, 8. You're having 8 guys in the box right there. It's hard to run. And then it's hard to pull it and pass, too, when a guy like DK Kaufman's on top of you in a hurry.
Well, you got to believe they're in 4 down. Even though they're down by 3, they were down by 10 and went for it right around this position on the field. But we're closing in on 4 minutes to go. We're now under 4 minutes to go. And a timeout. Play clock was about to expire.
It's a big third down.
Yep, says hold on a minute. All right, what else is going on around college football today? Mike? Tell you what, we saw him a couple of weeks ago. They got a good thing going down there. All right, what are you thinking here, Max?
Yeah, you have a decision if you're Wake Forest, because do you try to pick it all up here on a vertical shot, or do you say, hey, we're in 4-down territory, with 3:55 left, go something underneath and play 4-down territory. It'll be interesting to see what Wake does.
Well, in these situations, we've seen a lot of blitzing from NC State. That does not look like to be the case now. They send 5. Crossing pattern caught by Claiborne, so that answers your question. They get half of it back, and you know they're going. I mean, you're down to 3:40, and you're down by 3 points.
Yeah, like we said, that to me is exactly the play call of, hey, let's throw it for 4 or 5, get to third and manageable. You're also saying, hey, if Claiborne can break a tackle there, he'd pick up the first down. In this scenario, 3rd and 5, they've tried to get Damon Claiborne, their running back, one-on-one. Let's see if they do it here.
And let's see if State brings a blitz. They're showing blitz. Yep, here they come. And Bachmeier gets it away, and it's caught. It is a first down to the 32 to Deuce Alexander, and that's the best play that Bachmeier has made in quite some time.
That is a gutsy quarterback play right here. You know you're going to get hit. You know you got to take this shot. He's almost throwing that football blind. There is no secret. NC State's done this the majority of the game today. Bring in the house. Can you win one-on-one? Quarterback, can you get the ball out of your hands? Bachmeier, great job there.
Well, now we're down to 2:45, first down. Carney in the backfield. As they give Claiborne a breather, they hand it off to Carney. And power running straight ahead inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. 2:30 to go. And a carry for 6 yards on first down. They are certainly well within field goal range here. Although bear in mind, at the end of the game last week, a 42-yard attempt was missed by Dennis. Right now, it would be roughly a 45-yard attempt. And they're going to let this thing run all the way down to the 2-minute timeout. Wake has 2 timeouts remaining. And NC State in front, 30-27. Leading Wake Forest 30-27 in the second longest continuous rivalry in all of college football. These two schools have been going at it since 1910. Ball at the 28-yard line. Tiptoeing around and able to stay on his feet and pick up yardage on second down is Claiborne. It brings up a 3rd down. And a timeout is called by NC State. So the Wolfpack has 1 timeout remaining. Wake has 2. You got a 3rd and 2 coming up.
Keep in mind, too, this is a familiar scenario for both these teams. NC State came down to a Hail Mary.
You would suspect they're going to hand it off again. NC State's thinking the same thing on defense. They're crowding the box. Yep, they hand it off. And he didn't get there. So now it's 4th down. And NC State will call a timeout. This would be a 45-yard field goal try.
We look at the ace replay there. Brandon Cleveland. The disadvantage of the 3-3-5 scheme, the reason defenses don't run it is because when you have 5 DBs on the field, that's 1 less player you have in the box. That's a more lineman or linebacker body, and so you can leave yourself susceptible against short yardage run schemes. Credit this NC State defense for bowing up there behind their big nose tackle, Brandon Cleveland.
All right, a week ago, Dave Clawson's team had a chance to tie the game at the end of regulation, but Dennis missed a 42-yard field goal. His career long is 46. He'd be right in that neighborhood here, and it looks like they're keeping the offense on the field on 4th down rather than trying to tie it up.
And one thing that goes underrated in this scenario, too, is if your offensive coordinator has a play call that you love versus a look you feel confident you're going to get, sometimes this is the opportunity to take advantage of that.
But will they snap it or just try and draw him offside? And then call a timeout. They're going to play it 4th down. Here we go. Good protection and a first down to the 20-yard line. So Dave Clawson rolls the dice and Alexander the reception. And now they're thinking about a touchdown to win this thing.
Exactly. They're not thinking about overtime. They're trying to walk out of here on this drive with the win, and they go to their trusty receiver, Deuce Alexander, who's been great all day in those close, contested, tough catches, picking up a first down there.
That's 2 fourth-down conversions on this drive. They're 3 for 3 on fourth down in the game. They burned a lot of time. Now, they do have a couple of timeouts left. They throw it in the flat. Wide open is Mays. He's inside the 10, down to the 5, and run out of bounds inside at the 3. And that'll stop the clock at 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining.
This is where the offensive identity for Wake Forest comes through. That slow mesh. You're so worried about them handing the ball off to Damon Claiborne. Safeties and linebackers get their eyes into the box, and you slip a receiver out into the flat for an easy completion. Good recognition by Hank Bachmeier, and a strong, accurate throw on the outside.
All right. First and goal for the Demon Deacons. 1:05 to play. Wake Forest trails by 3. Claiborne in the backfield gets a handoff. He will find the end zone. A pair of fourth down conversions on the drive for Wake Forest, and it's cashed in at the end on the run by Claiborne from 3 yards out. And how about Wake Forest down by 10 when the quarter began?
And how about another juke from Damon Claiborne? We said he's an NFL type of back. You're seeing it right there on back-to-back touchdown rushes. It's him and a safety, him and a linebacker. He makes you miss in the hole, and it's not a wasting time juking anything like that. It's put your foot in the ground, give him a shake, get uphill. 2 drives in a row, Claiborne's taken over and got in the touchdown.
136 rushing yards today for Damon Claiborne, and a couple of touchdowns. 13-play drive that chews up 6 minutes. Wow, was that impressive.
Let's take a look at today's player of the game, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. And right on cue, Damon Claiborne. We saw him early. That's the touchdown right there, receiving it into the flat. And then late in this game, Wake Forest has opened up the running game. And yes, the offensive line is doing a good job, but he's making guys miss in the hole. He's got the burst, he's got the explosiveness, and the vision has come through as well. Damon Claiborne is special, doesn't get enough recognition nationally for how dynamic he is, but man, it really feels like this Wake Forest offense goes by the way he goes.
He had 135 yards rushing, which was a career high in the season opener. And one more than that here today for a new career best. .101 left to go. NC State out of timeouts. Remember, they burned all those timeouts. They had the 1 on defense halfway through the 3rd quarter. They spent 2 on that drive to leave them a little bit of room here on the backside should Wake score. Of course, they were hoping it would be a field goal try instead of the touchdown, because now you're down by 4.
How about that 4th down call by Dave Clausen, too? Offensive coordinator Warren Rochero. You're a 1-3 team. Got nothing to lose, trying to ignite a spark in your season, trying to get some energy on your squad, to trust your guys to execute in that scenario, and hasn't been pretty the entire day. It's a great drive they had.
All right, well, can the youngster Bailey respond with 1:01 remaining? Good protection, and he throws an interception on the first play. Picked up by Branson Combs, and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons sideline erupts. I mean, this team feels like this could easily be a 4-1 start to their season, with the only game where they just got whacked was against Ole Miss.
You mentioned it, nail-biter versus Virginia. They thought that one got away, but today they're down up only 3-man rush, and their big guy up front, Jasheen Davis, is able to get through. Force Bailey to throw out of an awkward arm slot. Coming up with an interception.
This will end a 5-game conference losing streak for Wake Forest. It will end a 7-game road conference losing streak. And boy, what a disappointment if you're Dave Doeren. You go to the 4th quarter, up 10, And, you know, your offense just can't sustain anything for you there in that fourth quarter.
Branson Combs coming up with that interception. He was a guy before this game that staff told us he's only going to play if it's an emergency situation, if it's a 2-minute drill type of situation. He was banged up all week in practice. Coming up big there. They needed him. It was a defense that lost Devon Patterson, the nickel spot early on in this game, to ejection. It's a secondary who we've talked about, had their struggles at times, but came up with big plays when they needed it today.
Boy, did they ever. And it was a run game that finally got him going, but a couple of big-time plays by Bachmeier on a pair of fourth-down conversions. Dave Clawson going for it, and he'll leave here with a victory. 34-30, our final score. What a game presented today by our friends at Verizon.
What a gutsy win. A lot to be encouraged about if you're C.J. Bailey. Wishing the best for Grayson McCall.
All right, so our final, 34-30 Wake. For Max Brown, Trevor Scales, and our entire crew, Tom Brenneman, thanks so much for joining. After the break, it's out to Talladega for NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff racing. We'll see you next week from Chapel Hill.